Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole bringing you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time you are watching this live. Hello, crew. Hope all is well. Make sure you hit the likety-like button on the way in. And please let me know if you can hear me in the live. There was definitely some technical issues before I came on, so my apologies for being a little late. But with that being said, we have to talk, crew. Oh, yes, we definitely have to talk, okay? Make sure you guys let me know if you guys can hear me because, again, I do not know, and sometimes this live is delayed. So please let me know if you can hear me. Give a thumbs up if you can hear me. So thank you, Danielle. I don't follow Chris Brown. I also don't really, like I said, I don't know much about Tory Lanez. What I do know is that this connection is quite interesting. All right, you guys, very interesting. And I want to know your take on this, and we can talk tonight. All right, y'all know I like to do the late night talks, the late night rabbit holes, and let's discuss. So, for those who probably don't know, Chris Brown has been arrested yet again. This is not his first time being arrested, but he is actually currently arrested in the UK for allegedly something that happened in 2023. Now, why I found this to be very interesting as to the timing of it all. On May 14th, they are saying that Chris Brown posted free Tory, as in Tory Lanez, on his Instagram story as a show of support to Tory Lanez, who, of course, we know was recently allegedly poked multiple times, actually in prison. Not even 24 hours later, Chris Brown is arrested. Now, coincidence? I don't know. We're going to talk about it, but I find that very interesting. Now, based on the information, they are saying that he was flying to the UK ahead of his upcoming world tour, and he was arrested and charged on Thursday for allegedly, I can't say the word, but pretty much aiding a man. Usually we say SA, but I would say aiding a man and pretty much like hitting him over the head with an object. All right. And this was apparently in a London nightclub in 2023. Okay. And apparently the district judge ordered that Brown, who filed a $500 million defamation lawsuit earlier this year over a documentary about his alleged extensive history of violence. Now, mind you, they are also saying that he filed a $500 million defamation lawsuit. But interesting enough, he's held in custody without bail until his next court hearing in June. So he's stuck there. Now, I don't know if this is his first time back in the UK. That's an allegedly, right, Danielle, or is there proof? Because I don't want to say that if he actually didn't do it. A lot of people are saying allegedly. Do we have proof that that's what he actually did? That's my thing. Hey, Shayna. But he literally, I don't know. Maybe he hasn't been in the UK, and it just so happens that around this time he actually went out there and bam, they got him when he did because he was going on a world tour. The timing is very suspicious. It's very suspicious because we're not going to pretend that literally we were just told that they had evidence of what really happened between Tory Lanez, Meg, and her so-called BFF that night, and that he never did the pow pow. And literally a couple days later after that, they're saying that he got poked in prison. So again, is it just possible? But it was allegedly civil and became crimes while in UK. So we're going to say allegedly. We're not going to say that that's what he did. Because my thing is this. We're not going to pretend that Chris Brown is innocent. But I just find it very strange that after the connection of certain people, both Chris Brown and Tory Lanez has just gone down a rabbit hole of darkness and bullshit and everything else combined, okay? Make sure you guys hit the like button because Chris Brown, when he first came on the scene, and I actually met that little boy, and yes, I'm going to call him a little boy because he's a little boy to me. I met that little boy when he first came out and he was doing the Run It song and all of that stuff. He seemed very, very mild, very meek, very respectable, charming, calm, and seemed to be very respectful when it came to, listening to people, whatever the case may be. He did not give me vibes of what he's allegedly constantly being accused of now. Now, again, we do know that people can give off a certain persona in the public versus what they do behind closed doors. What I will say is when I met him, this was not at like some event where he had to put on the lights, camera, action. This was literally a situation where if he really wanted to show his ass even then, he could have, and he didn't. Okay, this is when he first came on the scene. So what I will say is that the moment he got with Rihanna, and again, I don't have anything against Rihanna. I actually think Rihanna's pretty dope. I think she has a great catalog and I like her style. But we're not going to pretend that the moment he got with Rihanna and what occurred in that car, allegedly, that he has not been able to catch a break no matter how much he tries to continue to move on and go forward. He never hit that stardom that, in my opinion, or that status that, in my opinion, he was close to getting. If he would have continued on the path, I guess, the powers that be wanted him to. And we're going to talk about that because in my personal opinion, Chris Brown, in my opinion, was the Michael Jackson of this generation. The boy can dance his butt off. He can sing his butt off. He definitely had that it factor, in my opinion, times 1,000. And again, y'all know I don't like comparing anyone to Michael Jackson because I think he is a one of a kind. We'll never have another Michael Jackson. But if I had to compare skill set and entertainment and how he can work a stage and dance, like he finds a beat and I'm like, what the heck are you doing with your body? Like a lot of people can't move like Chris Brown, and that's just what it is. I really think that's where he was going to go. And I personally feel that the powers that be didn't want him to go that way. They didn't want him to reach that success unless maybe he was willing to do certain things. But I don't know. And again, for those who are like big time Chris Brown fans, I don't know if the last time he literally was in London or the UK was when 2023, that, situation allegedly occurred or he was there. I don't know if that was the last time he was in the UK. I find it very interesting, though, that now he gets arrested and they're keeping him until June. That's very interesting. Do y'all find that interesting? Now, some of you guys could say it's just a coincidence and he was hiding and staying away from the UK. But here's my thing in this situation. Here's my thing. If he allegedly did this back in 2023 and he never got it resolved and he allegedly did this, why in the hell would you go back to the UK knowing that this is possibly still something that you have to deal with? Why didn't you get attorneys involved, people that can resolve this, because you know that you have to eventually go to the UK? Does that make sense to y'all? Like, I don't think Chris Brown is out of his mind like people always trying to make it seem like that. He's out of his mind like that to where he doesn't realize that if he did this, especially with how they claim how serious it was, the actual assault, how serious it was, that he's not going to realize that he's going to have to face this when he touches down in the UK. So you mean to tell me he allegedly did this and went to the UK thinking that no one was going to talk to him about this? That doesn't make any sense. Especially when you already know Chris Brown doesn't go anywhere alone. So if something did happen in this so-called club, he had people around him who saw what happened who would probably also say, yeah, bruh, you may want to make sure that you get this taken care of before you go on your world tour in the UK, or better yet, don't go on a world tour in the UK at all because you may have some legal issues coming up. So this is why I said, hold on, y'all. Hold on. This is why I was just like, my conspiracy crown was tingling. It was tingling because I'm like, this does not make any sense. And interesting enough, you have media outlets saying that literally less than 24 hours after he said free Tory Lanez, he's arrested. Now, why would you think media outlets will want to say something like that unless they also thinking that there's possibly a connection? Y'all thinking about that? Because damn it, it's not adding up to me. It's not adding up. I personally feel like something else is going down. But we're going to talk about it because I said, wait a minute. Chris Brown gets arrested after he says free Tory Lanez. They hold him until June. Does anybody know when his tour was actually supposed to kick off? Does anybody know? Let me know if y'all know exactly the first date of his tour was supposed to kick off and where. I'm going to assume it's actually in the UK was the date of his first date of his tour, but it almost sounds like he may not even make it. Let's see. Chris Brown World Tour dates. Let's see. Now, interesting enough is Live Nation. Dates in June and July. So let's see. Let's see the tour dates here. Because I want to know what these UK dates are. You're saying okay, you retracted it. So I'm assuming that was not accurate what you were about to say. You're saying the tour already started. Okay, so if the tour already started, where did it start at? In the UK? Because that's the main thing. If it started in the UK, hey, Alex B. Yeah, but where did it start though? That's the thing. Where did it start? Because I'm assuming he hasn't done a show yet in the UK. And when are the actual dates in the UK? And why the hell can I not find that? It's like they trying to give me all of the American dates. I want the damn UK dates. This is why sometimes Google get on my nerve because it's like you want to give me what you want to give me. I'm looking for Chris Brown UK tour dates because I'm wondering if he's still locked up when he's supposed to be on stage. Is that a liability? Can they sue him? Okay, so it looks like I finally found it. June 15th seems like that is the first date of his UK tour. June 15th, the 16th, the 19th, the 21st, June 22nd, 24th. He literally is going to be in the UK all the way from the mid-June to the beginning of July. So he literally, his first date is June 15th. They are saying he's not getting out until June, or possibly when he has his hearing in June. Child, y'all think, is somebody trying to destroy Chris Brown yet again? Because this, again, why would he go? And I know they keep saying that he got substance issues and all of this type of stuff. Again, I don't know. I do know that his whole entire energy changed once that situation with Rihanna happened. It was just slowly but surely it got worse and worse. And again, because they made him out to be the bad guy and he was just a horrible person, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, I'm sure that took a toll on him, especially because he was so young. You know what I mean? Like he was so young and he didn't understand it, especially because rumor has it he was defending himself in that car. Now, again, we will never know, but the reality is this is why I say is this situation with Chris Brown and the Rihanna situation that happened years ago and this Tory Lanez and Meg situation definitely seems like it's very connecting the dots maybe, because we have two situations where Rihanna and Meg, both interesting enough, are Rock Nation artists. Interesting. And next thing you know, the guys that they were with who were also artists go through hell and back and literally are seen as public enemy number one, while these women end up going to higher heights with their career. Did that not happen? Now, one can say, oh, well, they did what they did to these women. Okay. But isn't it interesting that both situations with both of these guys have both had some type of what they claim DV situation with these women? Now, I don't know the extent or the history of both of these guys, but I have not been able to find, and again, right or wrong or indifferent, you guys have more information, by all means, please let me know. But does anybody know if Chris Brown had a history of DV? Not what he saw, but literally with women that he was with. Did he have a history of that before Rihanna? Furthermore, did Tory Lanez have a history of, DV towards women of some sort before Meg? Because again, the reality is if you've seen a pattern from these men like that before, then yeah, it makes sense. But did they have a pattern, or did all of a sudden they just got painted a certain way and then now they're public enemy number one? Yes to what? Be very specific on what you're saying yes to, though, so I know what you're saying yes to. So are you saying yes that they had a history of DV before the Rihanna and Meg situation, though? That's what I'm asking. Before the Rihanna and Meg situation, did they have reports or people came forward saying that they had situations about that before the situation? That's what I'm talking about, not after the situation. I'm saying before the Rihanna situation, did Chris Brown have a history? And before the Meg situation, did Tory Lanez have a history? That's what I'm getting at. Because again, if we're saying the powers that be possibly pulling the strings, the powers that be also can pull the strings on the media. Whoever controls the media controls the mind. So that's what I want to know. Did they have a history of that beforehand? And if they didn't have a history of that beforehand, why all of a sudden did they get a history of it immediately when it came to these women? Immediately. Like, seriously, it to me doesn't add up. Now, if you guys are telling me that there was a history prior to them being with these women, then okay. But if we don't have no reports of that, where is this coming from? So, and why is it that he would be dumb enough to go to the UK knowing he apparently did that in 2023? That just doesn't make it. But catch a replay. Y'all have a good night. It's okay, Leo. Yeah, catch the replay. Probably so. I remember he at home may have been. But before, again, I'm asking about before. Because what I do find interesting is this. For whatever reason, when the media or the powers that be really want to attack one particular person and make them out to be crazy or whatever the case may be, you notice that it definitely breaks them, and rightfully so. It mentally breaks them. Chris with Karrueche and Tory with them, and yes, they both have allegations, not just. Again, though, Danielle, Karrueche was after Rihanna, correct? We're talking about after Rihanna. But before, did they have history? I'm not saying that he's not problematic. I ain't defending this little boy, okay? He's a little boy to me. But what I'm saying is that what happened where all of a sudden at that particular moment, they just became the DVs of all DVs and started to just explode and have this so-called, violence towards these two particular women. Now, at this point, if he is having a substance issue and things like that, okay, other women may have not came forward. Chris was 19 at first. True, but I would think that would be the time that you would come forward. Once this big thing came out with Rihanna and the picture with Rihanna, to me, that would have been the time that every woman they could possibly think of who have had an experience with Chris would have came forward. You know what I'm saying? That it would, to me, that would have been the situation. But again, maybe there was women who were coming forward. But what I do know is that a lot of people were speculating that Rihanna, they was both going at it in that car. That's what they have been speculating for years since it happened. But at the end of the day, again, I don't play with DV, but I don't play with DV on both sides. I believe everybody need to keep their hands to themselves. But one thing I do know is they made sure that they showed a picture of Rihanna. I don't remember if they showed a picture of Chris Brown that night. But some of you guys are younger than me and you guys are big time Chris Brown fans. So you can really give me the nitty gritty on if they did show a picture of him after the incident in the car. Yes, they were already aggressive, but more prominent women were pushed in the forefront. So you're saying before they both had a history of it. Okay, well then if they had a history of it before Rihanna and before Megs, then why are we saying then the powers are pulling the strings? Because if that's the case, then these are two allegedly violent men who have had a history of this. So are we saying it's because they did not have, since they didn't, just because they had a history of it, that doesn't mean that they did what they did that night or that day? Is it possible that because they already had a history of it, it was a perfect situation for them to get set up? Because again, I don't remember people stepping forward saying that Chris Brown already had a history of this type of behavior. It was after that incident that he apparently spiraled. Tory Lanez, I don't know enough information about him, but we do know now that apparently, allegedly, he didn't even have that pow in his hand in the first place. So again, what is going on here? And then not to mention Tory Lanez's father, and I didn't realize this, he called out Roc Nation. Did y'all know that? He called out Roc Nation, and he called out Roc Nation by name. Now, that man seems to be a no-nonsense man, and he seems to be a no-nonsense man that definitely is a praying man. So he seems like he's very fearless on saying what he needs to say when it comes to what he feel is an attack against his son. Now, with that being said, I'm definitely going to play it for you so you guys can hear it. But the reality is that, let's just say this. We're not going to pretend that Chris Brown and Tory Lanez, if they have had a history of this prior to these incidents, that they're the only ones that have had histories of this before. And I'm not saying if they have had history of this before these incidents, then maybe this is their karma catching up to them and they finally got caught up in the situation. But I am curious to know why them, because we're not going to pretend they're the only ones who have definitely had some issues with being aggressive at points with women. Some have been reported multiple times, but you don't see them getting locked up like this or getting dragged in the media like this. But these two particularly are. They are getting dragged. What they want into the positions that benefit them, Roc Nation securing the bag and taking out anybody that stops the money coming to them. So again, why is the money? Why these particular two is my thing. Hey, Jay. Hey, JW. Why these two? You know what I'm saying? Like, why these two? And again, I'm not going to even, you know what? F it. I'm going to say it. If Chris Brown has had a history of this since the beginning, even before the Rihanna situation, why does he have so many females rooting for him the way that he does? Like, seriously. Like, is it really like that everybody has their blinders on and they don't care that he has this issue with, you know, violence or whatever the case may be, and they just don't care? Because literally, I did not hear anything about him having an issue prior to the Rihanna situation. And it seemed like after the Rihanna situation, just things started going downhill. You know what I'm saying? But I just find it interesting, from the Britney Spears to all of these people, when the media or the people are willing to turn against you, you crazy. You allegedly got substance issues. You got violence issues. Now, for some of you guys who watch this play in real action, maybe that is the case. What we do know is that apparently Chris Brown has filed a $500 million defamation lawsuit earlier this year over a documentary. That's what we do know. Okay, so clearly he's coming for people based off of what they're saying about him. But they said that this was at Tape Nightclub. This was February 19th, 2023 at Tape Nightclub. What happened with the situation with the victim allegedly. And let's just say it was a large bottle of Don Julio tequila that created a lot of injuries. According to the complaint, this actual gentleman, I don't know how to say his name, D-I-A-W, was unconscious on the floor when apparently Chris Brown was, allegedly attacking him. And this was a producer. You know what I'm saying? So he said that allegedly he went to the hospital. So at this point, they're saying Metropolitan Police charged a singer with 1 count of bodily harm and intent. And so at this point, they said that he will be in custody until June 13th, a plea and trial preparation hearing. Mind you, his first actual date for his world tour is June 15th. So Brown, he hasn't publicly addressed the charges against him, is expected to enter a plea June 13th. I don't know if that means he's going to get out, but he definitely, if he doesn't get out, that's going to be quite interesting. He looks, when he takes it too far, they will stop, like Trey Songz. Well, I find it interesting that literally you have a lot of people who sit up there and are like, they were willing to fight for Chris Brown. But if he's had a history of this from the beginning, this is what I'm saying about celebrity worship. What I do know is, though, there are definitely people in this industry who have done the same thing that these men have been allegedly accused of, if not worse. So what is it about them that they keep getting all of this? And literally, one is literally in jail for 10 years. Allegedly, this situation in the UK could put Chris Brown in jail for 10 years. When you have had literally people who have done the same thing and worse, and they're just free as a bird. Let me see. I seen a video with a horror of women following Chris Brown to get their 1,000 meet and greet picture. They don't care about his deed. And it's sad. It's sad. Hey, what's up? I don't know if anybody, what's up? I don't know if there's a way to spell it, or I have to do the acronym. Tory was the first guy to put artists on to releasing music without a label or deal and wouldn't sign to Rock Nation. Okay. So, which is why I'm saying it's very interesting. And when did this happen? Did that happen before he got with Meg's, or while he was with Meg? See, this is what I'm talking about. And then because he wouldn't sign with them, are we thinking that maybe they used his past against him to allegedly set him up? Like, what is it? Because 1 minute it's like, well, they've had a history of this. So then I can see why a lot of people are saying, well, then they did it. You know what I'm saying? They did it. But you can also have a past and have a history of something, and someone can use that against you to be able to leverage you getting caught up and being put in prison. So then that way you can't make your money or do what you need to do. 2020, he ended up being with Megs in 2020. Or are you saying this is what happened Roc Nation in 2020? When did he get with Meg the Stallion? When did he get with Meg the Stallion? Because if he didn't sign with Roc Nation in 2020, when did he start dating Meg the Stallion? When did Tory Lanez date Meg the Stallion? Okay, so yes, Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion were romantically involved before the 2020 incident. Okay, but again, when was he saying no to Roc Nation? Because then it's like, did people purposely make sure that him and Meg got into a relationship? And exactly. So if she, but the problem is that if that is the case, and again, this is all just allegedly and us talking, but if that is the case, let's just say this. If they both had a history of being aggressive before, maybe people did research to know that, is it still right for them to still allegedly be set up for something, you know what I'm saying, that they may or may not have done? Is it right? So I don't play with DV, but if you guys are saying they both had a history of DV before they ended up getting accused and even convicted of doing certain things, sometimes your karma come back to you in other ways. But again, why these two, when we have had some sick, twisted people who are still roaming the streets free with no issue? Like, real talk. Why is it that there's only certain people that get caught up while other people can roam free? And again, if he decided not to sign with Roc Nation, but then ended up signing with a Roc Nation artist, or ended up being with a Roc Nation artist, and now because of that Roc Nation artist, he's allegedly in prison for something that he did not do. I'm going to play this actual video of Tory Lanez's father. And apparently this happened like 2 years ago when all of this came and when he got convicted. When I tell you this man sounds fearless, and he pretty much saying he don't give a damn, he gonna speak his mind. He's not playing with these people. Tory Lanez said Chris Brown was the only celebrity to help pay for his $2,500 lawyer fees when his bank account got frozen. I wonder why. And I wonder if Chris is understanding the connection also, that we are just not, I wonder why. Just like Diddy, it was cool and folks let them get with the BS until the money was walking out the door. But if he never signed to Roc Nation, they never had the money in the first place. And Chris Brown, there was no money walking out the door. The only thing that I can think of is that they finally got exposed, allegedly, is because maybe they weren't willing to agree with certain things in the industry. Because, they always say that certain people sell their soul in the industry, and maybe they said hell no to it. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, bam, all of this stuff happens to them. But with that being said, let me sit up here and play you guys. I hope you can hear it, and put a thumbs up if you can hear it. Tory Lanez's father and what he had to say about Roc Nation.
You want to know exactly how I'm feeling? Yes, sir. I just stood here in this Los Angeles County and witnessed the worst miscarriage of justice that this world has ever seen. You want to know how I feel? I'll tell you exactly how I feel. I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Roc Nation, including you, Jay-Z. Yes. You who say you rose from the gutter, but you have traded and bartered the souls of young men, and you're still doing it. The only independent witness in this courtroom is a man whose name is Sean Kelly. He came to court, and our attorneys, he would not even shake their hand after he went upstairs with Kathy Tar and Alex Bott.
They met on Saturday before. They
They met with our witness. And then the man came back, and I sat in the hallway while he sat with Jody Little, the prosecutor's investigator, who acted so dumb, an intelligent woman who did not want... Listen, I've seen so much evidence buried in this, and I know exactly what the public out here will say. Don't talk. You will say, I say this because I'm a father. See, I am a father of thousands around the world. I'm a father of my kids, but a spiritual father to many. And I don't make stupid allegations because I got nothing better to do. You all have been bartering and trading the souls of young black and brown men in this country. And I'm calling on all the umbrellas. I'm calling on everybody in this country to begin to rise up. That's because your sons have been done dirty.
That's right.
Free Tory. Free Tory. It's not over. It's not over. God does not lose.
Never.
And even though we have come to this juncture, trust me, you will see that our God does not fail.
This is not the
I know
right.
that this is wickedness. Right. This district attorney, Miss Kathy Tar, is the same one that's witnessed or knew that 5 sheriff's deputies in LA County beat up a Spanish man with the last name Carrillo until the guy was beaten to and passed out. ABC News interviewed that man after Eyewitness News. And he said, I thought I would never be here to see my child born. And I would never been able to be around to see my other child rise up. But I'm telling you, this court system is not for justice. It's about wins and losses, and they do dirty to do whatever they can. Jay-Z, let me speak to you.
He has kids.
Let me talk to you. Yes. Because my son refused to sign a Rock Nation deal with you.
Yes.
And Desiree Perez, you wicked witch, you snitch.
Yes.
Whoa.
You turned on your co-conspirators, or the whole mafia, one of you that was peddling drugs in this country, and you rolled on them before so the Fed could give you a deal.
Now you think
All of you, trust me, I have intercessors, prayer warriors around the world, and they will not stop until you are cut off.
Yes.
No, we don't shoot you with guns, but we know exactly how to bring you down in the spirit.
They all have children.
No,
They all have children.
it's all done.
That's right.
Open way.
Okay. So that's what the father said 2 years ago. Okay. Now, yeah, people dragging the dad for blaming Rock Nation. That's because we do live in a celebrity worship society where they feel like their favorite celebrities can do no wrong. But we're not going to pretend that we have not heard people having issues with and saying certain things about Jay-Z before. Okay, so even Dame Dash, his own former partner and friend, has definitely said things about Jay-Z. Prodigy in the past has said things about Jay-Z. There have been a lot of people who have said things about Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? So what he said at the end of the day, he said because his son didn't want to sign with Rock Nation. Now, I know what you're trying to say as far as that you're saying that Meg was in a bad deal prior to Rock Nation. So what did she have to do to pay them back? Chris Brown or Tory Lanez could have been poached by Rock Nation. If artists listen to Tory Lanez and release music without a label, Rock Nation loses. Rock Nation doesn't lose. As if you're to me, Rock Nation, if they had him as an artist and then he decided to leave, I can understand that. But apparently, some have even said in the past that you just sitting up there denying a Jay-Z can get you blackballed. Because didn't Gully or what's his name that what's the two guys, the two cousins from Philly that actually have their podcast, Gilly and Wallow, Gilly has talked about Jay-Z and Jay-Z blackballing him allegedly simply because he didn't want to sign with him. I believe that was the reason that he said he blackballed him allegedly because he didn't want to sign with him. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, and I'm about to sit up there and delete this comment because if you would have listened from the beginning, you would have known what the heck I've been saying. No one is painting Chris Brown as a freaking saint. So you can go. No one is painting Chris Brown as a saint. What I'm saying is there's a lot of people who are not saints in this industry and beyond, but it seems like certain people are getting caught and certain people are not. That's what it seems like. Okay? That's what it seems like. And at the end of the day, why is it that certain people can get caught and certain people don't? And you talking about crying about it. I'm not crying about nothing because I ain't bought a Chris Brown album or a Tory Lanez album. So with that being said, you have a great day. You have a great day. So keep it moving. But with that being said, we already know that there's a lot of people in this freaking industry who have done some shady stuff, or in this world who has done some shady stuff. And literally, they're still excelling. Why these two? Is my moderator in here? Because we got a couple people that need to go to the block party. Luckily, I was able to see it. But we got to send a couple people to the block party. With that being said, though, double tap the screen or hit the 3 dots on the right to hit the like button. But yes, the reality is that it's very interesting that certain people are painted a villain while other people are painted innocent and perfect when some of those people are the biggest villains there are. Period. And who's to say that all of this drama that has gone on with a Chris Brown did not lead him to substance issues in the first place? Allegedly. Again, I ain't never seen the man do any substances, but allegedly they say he has that problem. You know what I'm saying? So with that, now this is what I'm talking about with trolls. Chill on Gilly and Wallow. Chill about what, sir? I just simply said that Gilly sat up there and said that Jay-Z allegedly blackballed him and he ain't effing with Jay-Z. So what is the chill about? Some people just come in here to say anything and they not even listening to what's being said. Hello. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the way in. I think they fall back and learn their lesson. Chris don't stop. Okay, well, maybe that is the case. Maybe that is the case. Clearly, people feel like Chris Brown is a super duper villain. And he may be a Diddy in the next 20 years or so. He may be. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, why him? It took Diddy how many years before they finally caught him and he's in prison? How many years? But literally Tory Lanez and Chris Brown, as soon as they really tapped and started making their move in the industry, bam, scandals come out. Let me see. They signed that deal with the devil. Yeah. Gilly said he understands the business now. Oh yeah, he does understand the business. And you know why? Because he said that he's independent at this point. He even talked about it again on Club Shay Shack. He said that now that he's gotten, you know what I'm saying, big or whatever the case may be, that he literally was been invited to Rock Nation brunches and he said he ain't going. You know what I'm saying? Like he said he ain't going. I appreciate that because I didn't say anything bad about Gilly and Wallow. I was giving an example about how he said Jay-Z blackballed him. And he still, to this day, is annoyed by that situation because he talked about it on Club Shay Shay. He said, I ain't going to no Rock Nation brunch just so Jay-Z could say that he could sit up there and get all of these ninjas together and control these ninjas and use my brand. He said that. Do you know what I'm saying? He said that. So all of these people have definitely said things about Jay-Z, whether people want to admit it or not. Because there's this celebrity worship that no matter what somebody does, y'all, people don't want to believe it as if these people are perfect. They're human. And sometimes you got to wonder what people are doing to get where they're at. But again, Chris Brown, Tory Lanez, literally Chris Brown gets arrested right after he said free Tory Lanez and decides to go back to the UK after he actually did this to someone. And you mean to tell me no one knew that this was going to happen to him? There was no one who sent him any paperwork, that there was possible charges, none of that. And then all of a sudden, he just is surprised that he's getting arrested when he's about to have a tour? You know, I don't know, Alex V. I don't know if he was offered a deal, but the thing is, it makes you wonder if he was offered something and he rejected it, and then next thing you know, things spiraled out of control for him. Maybe. And sometimes people will use the worst part of you or your past mistakes and put it in the forefront, you know what I'm saying, just so you can look like, you know what I'm saying, you are this horrible person. And again, I don't know these gentlemen, and I've never followed their careers like that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I wanted to have the honest conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, but again, is Meg Thee Stallion perfect? Because what we're hearing right now, she ain't allegedly a good female friend to her so-called female friends. And we're finding out that allegedly she said that Tory Lanez powed her, and apparently that didn't even happen. So, you know, it's like it's things that people are saying, things are trying to, it's connecting where it's like, what the F is really going on here? Gilly has implied that yes, he did not sit up there and sign, and then Jay-Z was trying to blackball him. Matter of fact, let me find that freaking Gilly, the Kid, and Jay-Z. Let me see. Okay, here we go.
You don't believe that Jay was blackballing?
I'm gonna tell you some real shit. I'm in the prison. I called Gil. I was hyping shit, man. I seen him on Sucker Free. Shoes looking crazy. He was looking good on there. I'm like, damn, cuz, what the fuck? Why you ain't signed, nigga?
Wallow was in jail, right? And he used to call home. I used to say, guys, they blackballing me, man. We would bump into people. They would tell us. Like, now Gilly was on the list. I did an interview on MTV. And the interview was so powerful. They got a call from Universal. Said you'll never get an exclusive again if you interview me.
It's the time he was going through the shit with Wayne, right? So, Pete, since our journey, since I've been home, I finally believed it because I thought he was bullshitting all the time because we ran into certain people from different MTV, BET, Universal Records. Certain people was like, I didn't know when I got that call from such and such. I'm like, that shit was real? You wasn't lying, nigga? I thought you bum ass. I thought you just was a bum rapper, cuz.
You don't believe that Jay was...
So, and then another one, he first talked about this on the Breakfast Club like years ago. He talked about this on the Breakfast Club. Let me see if I can find it.
Now, Gilly, were you really about to sign the Rockefeller?
Yeah. Major Figures was supposed to sign with Rockefeller. By the time they came back with the deal for Major Figures, I had already signed with Suave House. But then Jay wanted the group. So then when they came at us with the contract, it was like, I'm an independent. I'm a solo artist. I get 15 points, a bump at gold, a bump at platinum. There's 7 people in this group, man. We got 12 points, man. We would have to sell a quadrillion records to make some goddamn money, man. So I turned the deal down. Then they went out and got State Property. State Property didn't even know each other. They went and put State Property together because they had a deal on the table that was supposed to be for us. And when we turned it down, they wanted to keep that money.
Hov told him, I'm gonna make it hard for you. It's gonna be hard for you.
Damn.
He said that?
Tell the young niggas this is the best advice I can give you young
They
niggas.
put
man.
him through the
Watch
ringer.
who you offend on the way up, man. Because the calls that go down behind closed doors that you would never know about, it can't fuck your life up, but it definitely will put your shit to a halt, man. The biggest thing I've learned from being in this industry is these niggas ain't who they say they is.
Now, Gilly, were you really about to sign the...
Now, did y'all hear that? This is when he was on the Breakfast Club years ago. He said that literally there was a deal on the table. He understood the business and realized that everybody in the group, if they would have signed that deal, they would have to sell trillions of records to actually be able to make some decent money. Okay? And when he said, nah, I ain't doing it, they got State Property, but he said that Jay-Z pretty much was like, I'm gonna make it hard for you anyway. So in other words, what he's trying to imply is because I rejected it, he was trying to get his get back. So again, Who knows? It could be that Chris Brown, they was trying to give him an offer on the table and he said, no, I'm good. And then all of a sudden this happened. You know what I mean? Same thing with Tory Lanez. His own father said he decided not to sign with Roc Nation. And he named all of them. So again, and we had Chris Brown attached to Rihanna. And we had Tory Lanez attached to Meg. Now, the crazy part about it is, I know some people want to blame either side because you got some people who was like anti-Rihanna after that situation, just like you had some people who were anti-Meg. We don't even necessarily know if they even understand there was a play at hand. And they could easily be pawns in this situation too, if any of it is true. You know what I'm saying? So again, we don't even know. It could be that if this is truly something that someone is doing in the background, they could have easily been pawns in the situation just as much as the Chris Browns and Tory Lanez. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. So I'm not going to sit up there and be on some, Meg and Rihanna are the devil type of stuff. We don't necessarily know. They could have, maybe never even understood there was a play being at hand, or if they finally understood there was a play being at hand, being so scared and terrified over the situation, like, what the F is going on? Oh no, Joyner Lucas signed a deal with Roc Nation. I wonder if they will try to silence him back in Chris Brown. He made an Instagram post saying happy birthday to him, and if anyone that has a problem. You know what's interesting about Joyner Lucas? Isn't Joyner Lucas the one who called out Karen Civil? Isn't Joyner Lucas the one who called out Karen Civil? Make sure you guys hit the like button. Double tap the screen or the 3 dots to the right. You can hit the like in those 3 dots. Make sure you double tap the screen or hit it, the 3 dots on the side, on the upper hand corner. That's how you can find the like. But if I'm not mistaken, Joyner Lucas is the one who went off on Karen Civil about her being an alleged fraud and taking his money, if I'm not mistaken. Drake turned down Jay-Z as well to go to Tidal. Wow. Really? I'm going to have to say allegedly because I don't know. But damn. Damn. Damn, 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 damn. That is interesting. And again, I honestly, when I met Chris Brown back in the beginning, he seemed like a nice young man. Not saying that he actually was, but he seemed like a nice young man. However, I understand that he's been problematic because there's definitely been some things that he has said. Remember when he made the comment about he only want girls with good hair, or said something where black women was like, hold the hell up. And he stood 10 toes down on the situation and was like, y'all can pretty much kiss my ass. And I said what I said. I remember there was some that he said about only girls with good hair, only certain women with good hair. There was a big controversy behind that. And he didn't care. And clearly a lot of black women with 4C hair also didn't care either. You know what I'm saying? But you know what's interesting? You say you have to go independent nowadays. It almost seems like going independent and being approached by these bigger people, if you want to stay independent, it sounds like they're trying to imply that they will still screw you over. You know what I'm saying? So it's this, when I tell you the demonic energy is coming out left and right. Jay-Z ended selling Tidal anyway, so he just wasted everyone's time talking about black owned. Apparently, allegedly, didn't they say that he didn't even really own a good amount of that stake in Tidal, if I'm not mistaken? I don't know. You don't have, girl, we don't know you. All right. Have a great day, troll. Child, keep it moving and keep it pushing. But yeah, I have no problem sending people to the block party. I mean, it is what it is. But with that being said, you guys, that's why I wanted to have this intellectual conversation, to have an honest conversation about this. For the life of me, if these two guys have had a history of DV even before getting with these women, I still can't fathom why these women are still like crazy fans over these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. So that's why I'm like, what is this? And what demonic entities is like really taking over people's brain? And what the hell is going on? Like, I feel like half of the time I'm in a twilight zone. Like, I'm just like, this is no longer, it just seems like common sense is no longer common, and people just don't care anymore. They just want to be entertained no matter how dark and crazy it gets. You have a better chance keeping your money and all your hit records. Very true. Very true. But I also feel like the powers that be may only allow people to go so far on the independent side. So people have to understand that if they're going independent, they may not reach the heights that they want to reach. They just have to accept that and understand that. Yeah, I talked about Angie Stone on my page before. That really shook me, how much she dedicated her life to this business and pretty much was still having to tour, and literally was saying that if she would have gotten the money that she was supposed to get, she would have already been retired. That broke me. That broke me because it's just like, it's just so wicked. And Angie Stone, to me, is more talented than half of the freaking artists that get praised today. She got more talent, and she had more talent in her pinky toe. She could write, she could rap, she could sing, she could do it all. Ye's not crazy. So Jordan Lucas is the one who talked about Karen Civil. Am I correct on that? That's the one who went off on Karen Civil about how she took that money. That is very interesting to me, that he actually is now with Roc Nation. That's interesting. But okay. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is, when I saw that, and these actual media outlets was like, yeah, literally not even 24 hours after he said free Tory Lanez, he's arrested and he's pretty much sitting in a UK prison until June 13th. That's insane to me. Let me tell you something. If I apparently did something like that in another country, not 10 years ago, but just 2 years ago, guess what? Smart move in the situation. My world tour is not going to the UK. That would be my situation. Yep, I'm not going to the UK. I'm staying away from the UK because they're probably going to come get me. So the fact that I'm like, maybe he truly is that arrogant where he felt like no one was going to touch him. Yeah, his tour is coming up in the UK June 15th. He apparently has a hearing on June 13th. And I don't know if that necessarily means he's going to get out. He has to do a plea at that moment. That doesn't mean he's going to get out, which makes me wonder, if they keep him during those tour dates, can he get sued? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happens with that? Interesting. It's important to be an independent artist, but stay true to doing for the art's sake. Money and fame cannot be the primary objective. That is very true. But one thing that I feel like the ones that want the money and fame, and that's their primary objective, those are the ones who are the big stars right now. You know what I'm saying? Those are the ones who are the big stars. When you really think about it, the ones who truly stay true for art's sake, they're not. And probably because they're not willing to sell their souls. They truly just want it for the art. They don't want it for the fame. That is very true. As our celebrities think they are untouchable, God complex. Yeah, but there's only one living God, and eventually that karma comes back. Which is why I said, if Chris Brown and Tory Lanez, let's be real. Let's have the honest conversation. If they truly had a history of this, maybe it is their karma. But at the same time, why does karma only hit certain people in this industry? Why? You know what I'm saying? Why does it only hit certain people in this industry? Because for those who do sign the contracts, notice you don't really have scandals coming out about them. But the ones who don't, allegedly, all of their issues come out. He will indeed get fined a tour as a contract. Yeah, this sounds like this could be not only a criminal and potentially going to jail issue for Chris, but a financial issue for Chris. You know what I'm saying? That it could be both. The entertainment machine's primary objective is to suppress truth in artistry. You better say that again. You better say that again. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name. I'm gonna just call you K, but you better say that again. I miss the days when I was growing up watching the industry, and I'm sure there was stuff going on back then too. But to me, there was much more soul and heart in the industry or in people's artistry back then versus now. You know what I'm saying? And I think, in my personal opinion, it could be that the reason why there was more heart and soul in classics back then versus now is because where did people get most of their artists from? Most of the big time artists that we had growing up, most of them came from the church or came from a religious background. Most of them did. Now, we don't have that anymore. But when you look at these artists from back in the day, from the Jacksons to Prince to Whitney to Luther to Marvin Gaye, a lot of them came from church backgrounds. So I think they were able to incorporate, the soul and the heart from their, the church, and put it in their music. We're definitely in dark times. Like, I don't even know half of the time when award shows come on. It used to be a time that when award shows came on, especially in the 80s and 90s, the whole family would sit around and be ready to watch the award shows because they were that entertaining and the music was great and the artistry was great. That's long gone to me. But yeah, you guys, I definitely wanted to have this conversation about the Chris Brown and the Tory Lanez. I still feel like something in the buttermilk ain't clean. It's something in the buttermilk ain't clean. Chris Brown cannot be that stupid. You know why? Because Chris Brown, even with the way that they pretty much, after the Rihanna situation, to be honest, I didn't think he was ever going to recover. I did not think he was ever going to recover. Like, I was just like, he is going to crawl in a hole. He is done. But he was able to still continue, push forward, do tours, make music, against the odds. So he's not stupid. And he got a team of people around him that are clearly not stupid, even with people saying that allegedly he has some issues, like some substance issues and stuff like that. So for the life of me, it does not make sense that this man would decide to go to the UK and feel like he is not about to be touched if he allegedly did that and ran and never went back to the UK. I don't know. He done got arrested for other things in the past. He done got in trouble for other things in the past. Now all of a sudden you think you untouchable and you going to another country that you have no jurisdiction, you're not even a citizen of? Oh, please. He does have a lot. I said that earlier. And again, I don't like to compare anyone to Michael Jackson. I feel like Michael Jackson is a one-of-a-kind artist that we will never see again. He truly was God sent. But I will say that I do feel that Chris Brown was supposed to be that MJ for this generation. And people didn't want that. People wanted other people to get to higher heights, but not Chris Brown. And imagine probably him also saying that he didn't want to sign any agreements or he didn't want to do certain things to make it. And therefore, the powers that be said, okay, well, you don't want to comply, we'll take you down. But again, there's too many similarities in this situation. And it's pretty effed up because especially with the Tory Lanez situation, if he had a DV situation before this, because I don't play with DV, but if that man did not pow, And they literally did not do their due diligence to make sure that, you know, if he was innocent or not. And now he's serving 10 years over something he didn't do. That's effed up, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Bruno Mars is very talented too, but he's no Chris Brown when it comes to his dance moves. That's why I say that Chris Brown was the closest one possibly to MJ, because Chris Brown can dance his butt off. He can hear a beat and he start moving and you be like, how are you even moving your body like that? That's the way Michael was. Michael would hear a beat and move his body and you'd be like, no one can dance like Michael. And I feel like even in this day and age, no one can dance like Chris Brown. But Bruno Mars is a very talented musician and a very talented writer. Bruno Mars is extremely talented. His Silk Sonic album was top notch. Chris Brown got that golden shower from, okay. Anyways, but yeah, so with that being said, I don't know how true that is, Ava. And again, you know, allegedly they've been saying that Chris Brown was also at those Diddy parties. You know, and I get it. Some people feel like Chris Brown is a really bad guy who should be in prison. But what I'm saying is I feel like there's a lot of other people who should be in prison too. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of other people who should be in prison too. So why these two? You know what I'm saying? Why these two? Why these two are getting pretty much the hammer on everything and other people can continue to push forward? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense to me. And I get it. You're going to be anti them, protect Black women. I am a Black woman. And at the same time, I'm about what's standing on what's right. What's right. And what I do know is, as a Black woman, every Black woman is not ethical and has a moral standard. Period. Just like every Black man or just any woman or any man, period, does not have the same moral compass, integrity like I have. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong. And if there's anything fishy going on where this was a setup situation, when it comes to these gentlemen, they deserve fair trials. They need to sit up there and actually have a fair trial, because clearly Tory Lanez allegedly did not have a fair trial. This is some nonsense. Now, we can talk about this. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about this, but if you guys haven't noticed, some people were saying we have no proof of Tory Lanez actually being poked in prison. Have we seen anything about Tory Lanez? Like, we've heard about it, but people are really wondering if it actually happened. You will hope that they would lie about that. But again, I put nothing past anyone in any story at this point. I question everything at this point. But again, apparently he did. They have this so-called alleged suspect, but we have not seen anything. We haven't even seen a picture of him in a hospital bed. And I guess technically they can't do that if he's an inmate, but we don't really know. I hope nobody would lie about that, though. That's kind of insane. But hell, people lie about a lot of stuff at this point. Charge Chris after all this time to mess with his money. Yeah, but I'm wondering if it's because he never went back to the UK after that. Again, I don't know if he did it or not. I just find it strange that you would go back. If you did something like that, you would go back thinking that, oh, it's been 2 years, everything should be all as well. You're freaking Chris Brown. You're a celebrity. They're going to come after you, even if it's 5 years later. Chris was definitely at the Diddy parties. There are some clips of him at one running away from Diddy on top. Oh. Okay. Well, allegedly, they are saying that Chris was definitely at the Diddy parties. There are some clips of him at one running away from Diddy on top of a big ass bed, allegedly. So I don't know nothing about that. I'm kind of grateful I don't know a lot of stuff about this. I'm kind of learning about it now. But typically I just, drink my water and mind my business. But what I do know is there's just more and more coming out that I'm just like, this is not adding up. Like, this is not adding up. And I'm like, I can't be the only one who feels like, what the hell is going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell is going on here? They still would have notified him of a warrant. That's what I'm thinking. Because it's not like he can get paperwork from the UK and it can go to his manager or somebody to be notified. That's what I'm thinking. That's why I just said it just is so weird to me that they didn't notify him that there's a warrant or he's being charged or something. And then you get there and now you're arrested and locked up until June, possibly, if not longer. How does that even make any sense? That's why I said I had to talk about this, because I'm like, why am I racking my brain? And I'm like, what is this? What is this? Because it's not making sense to me. If I commit a crime like that, I ain't going back. I just won't get money in the UK if I'm going to be that stupid to do something like that. But then for him to go back, I'm like, that boy ain't that stupid. Usher definitely was there. Well, yeah, everybody talked about the Usher situation. Chris partied with Diddy all the time. He was sued over an incident on Diddy's yacht. That footage of Chris dancing away from Diddy is hilarious and old. Wow. Yeah, again, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. And it's also very interesting that even after the Rihanna scandal, Chris Brown was still, I guess, going to these Diddy parties. Very interesting. Shoot, I wouldn't be shocked if Chris Brown got somebody done put some heebie-jeebies on him. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be shocked, because it just, for him to be the so-called wholesome kid that we first got to know when he first came out, to now half of the time he just looks like his soul is just gone in his eyes. It's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. Like, there has definitely been a darker and darker cloud around Chris Brown. And it could be of his own doing. It could be. Or it could be that people were making sure that certain things are happening as well. And he, you know what I'm saying, loses it. And he does certain things to kind of get out of his mind of constantly overthinking and stuff. Like, we have people who end up going the substance route because we don't realize the demons that they're fighting every single day. Could be that too. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, we literally have people who, you know, they have to have an out-of-body experience and not be in their right mind to just deal with the everyday life of what they deal with. Hey, May, they might be holding Chris to be a part of the Diddy case. But in the UK, though, you think so? In the UK, would they extradite him, especially, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. What I do know is all of this is quite interesting, because we dealing with this Diddy case and now Chris Brown in prison in the UK. Like, this is crazy. I'm sure he had to fight off all the advances when he started out. That's probably what created who he is. Possibly he's on substance and had trouble past from before he was famous. I wonder where his dad is now. Now, again, I don't know these celebrities, these particular celebrities like this. They are not of my generation. The only thing I heard about his past before was that he saw his mother allegedly experience DV growing up. I did hear something like that, and y'all let me know if that's what you heard too. That he apparently he saw his mother go through that, and apparently even described that when his mother would go through that, he would piss himself because he was that scared and terrified. And I think the reason why I heard that is because they was trying to say he's repeating the cycle of what he saw when that Rihanna situation came out. But the thing is, a lot of people come from a troubled past. A lot of people in the industry, interesting enough, come from a troubled past. But again, why do certain people are able to slide through with their troubled past and their current troubles, and other people are not? You know, I guess that's what's really making me try to figure out, like, why? And I think the problem is people assume that because someone is successful and they haven't necessarily gotten in trouble, that means that they're wholesome, good people. I don't think so. I personally think that it's because some people will continue to do things to make sure that the negative things that they have done do not surface. That's what I think. His father was the only one who got him discovered, then disappeared. Oh, you talking about Chris Brown's father? That's a big allegedly. I don't know about this boy's life like that, but wow. That's a big allegedly. But yeah, you guys, at the end of the day, let me see. I'm gonna do a poll. Do you think there is a deeper, sinister connection between Tory Lanez and Chris Brown? I want to see what you guys are thinking. So do you think there is a deeper, sinister connection between Tory Lanez and Chris Brown legal drama? All right. Let's see what y'all say. All right. It's up and it's stuck, and y'all can vote. I think that it's all handshakes under the table. Rihanna spoke out about that, and she admitted she kind of started it and pushed him to the point. However, in my opinion, it's no excuse. But with his past, my thing is nobody should be putting their hands on. DV to me is DV. Now, granted, we clearly do know that men have way more strength than a woman can ever have. But at the end of the day, nobody should be putting their hands on each other. Like a woman should be putting her hands on a man should be putting her hands on a woman. That is just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, in general, keep your hands off of each other. Because my thing is, if I feel like I have to put my hands on you, I don't need to be with you. Simple. You know what I'm saying? So some people don't know how to deal with emotional trauma and wind up living out their trauma in relationship and lived experience. Yes, and clearly in the industry too. Some people live out their trauma in relationships and lived experiences in the industry. It seemed to me, it's almost like, does everybody in the industry have some type of craziness? Like, what is going on? Yeah, because they said the lady, I forgot her name, for Rock Nation, cousin of the guy who allegedly Tory Lanez. So, I don't know, but I do know that a lot of people was like, what the hell is going on? That literally like days before that they had the proof that he was innocent and that allegedly some people lied and tried to make it seem like he did it. All of a sudden, something happened to Tory. Everybody, a lot of people are saying that. Again, that's what I'm saying, timing. I would say some things can be a coincidence, but I would say a lot of things are not a coincidence. There's connections. There's connections. I'm like, what are the odds? And literally, these are from Tory Lanez people. They are connecting the dots too. We got information. We found out information. And then a couple days later, Tory is in the freaking hospital fighting for his life. Really? Like, come on. And then Chris Brown says, free Tory Lanez on the 14th, and the next day he's arrested. Like, wow, that's a perfect storm, ain't it? And it seemed like a perfect storm is always happening to certain people. It's interesting. Yes, make sure you get the likes up, double tap the screen or hit the 3 dots to your right. That's how you can hit the like, okay? That's how you can hit the like button. But yeah, you guys, I mean, it definitely seems like something is going on. Now, of course, interesting enough, a lot of people have said a lot about the lady who actually runs Rock Nation. A lot of people have said a lot of things about her. At the end of the day, they keep saying she's a snitch. I'm a civilian, so as far as I see it, I don't live by the snitch code. I don't. But a lot of people are saying that, and then she ended up becoming like a top dog in the business. You know what I'm saying? So, it's very interesting how all of this is allegedly playing out. But what I do know is Tory Lanez's father ain't scared. He seems like he has no problem putting stuff out there, and he has definitely said that he is a God-fearing man and a praying man. And he said God don't lose. You know what I mean? So I think that he's going to stay on people's necks, and he's not going to be afraid to speak out. Period. And unfortunately, I guess it had to take his son being in this situation to speak, because let's be real, if Tory Lanez would have never gotten in this drama, would we be hearing about Tory Lanez's father speaking up? More than likely, no. No. If Tory Lanez was out right now living his life, doing his thing, his father wouldn't be saying anything. It was Tory Lanez that in the China. You talking about Meg? Was it Tory? You talking about Meg, right? I think you're talking about Meg. But they're saying that he's not the one who did it. A bodyguard came forward and said he's not the one. They are saying allegedly Meg's so-called BFF, Kelsey, is the one who did it. He might have to get a pardon and get out. That's why they asking for Gavin Newsom. They're trying to reach out to the governor to see if they would literally pardon him. But here's the problem. If there was already some shady business going on to get him locked up in the first place, what are the odds of that happening? I just gotta be real, y'all. What are the odds of that happening, that if there was already some shady stuff going on that they claim, because they wanted to bring up the DA, if there was already shady doings going on, is that going to happen? Because then for that to happen, you're about to expose a whole court system. A whole court system, the Los Angeles court system. And then you know what that means? Well, if it can happen to Tory, we need to investigate all the other cases that was under this DA. You don't think that wouldn't happen next? Do you see what I'm saying? So the reality is that I don't know. It's really going to have to take God's doing to really reveal the truth. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the truth is, to where at that point they will have no choice, because the public may get involved. And the public can sway certain things sometimes, but I don't know if the powers that be would be willing to pardon him, because then that exposes so many things. Because they're still saying there wasn't any legitimate proof to lock him up the way that they did for 10 years. Again, I wasn't following the case, but I remember back then it was split. You had people who were talking about protect Black women and they believed it. And you had other people who was like, based on the evidence, I don't think he did it. Because they want him for life. And he is trying to run for president in 2028. So I don't know if he will. Right. He too busy focused on that. But at the same time, again, when you do those type of things, what you're essentially saying is that it is possible that people did not ethically do their job correctly, which means that opens up a whole can of worms of a lot of other stuff. What other cases during this time could possibly be an issue? Would there be a freaking lawsuit? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot. So it's really going to have to take God's hand on this to really reveal the truth and to really get it out there for Tory to be free. And that's really what I want at the end of the day. I want the truth to be exposed. And if the truth being exposed is still Chris Brown and Tory Lanez definitely having a history, then so be it. But everybody who has a history, a devious history, if that's the case, needs to be exposed. But having a DV history and still apparently being charged or accused of something you didn't do just so somebody could give you some payback or some get back, I would still say that's wrong. Y'all don't think so? Even if they have a history of doing some trifling stuff, is it okay for them to be locked up for 10 years or for years for something that they didn't do? Gavin Newsom. They're thinking Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, is possibly going to run for president in 2028. That's who we're talking about. So yeah, make sure you guys hit the like button, double tap the screen, or hit the 3 dots to the right to hit the like. But yeah, I feel like, to me, just because someone has a past, does that mean that they should definitely be accused and be convicted of something that they didn't possibly do? Got to really think about that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, again, you guys are saying that both of them have had history of issues with women even prior to the Rihanna and Meg situation. So maybe this one particular time, and now them being famous, they finally got caught up and got revealed on their demons, their own personal demons. But again, I just say, why is it always certain people and not everyone? Why isn't everybody being held accountable for their wrongdoings and the dark stuff that they do? Why everyone doesn't be held, they're not held accountable? Why only certain people? Hell, Diddy is finally being held accountable. Now, I don't know if they're going to actually keep him in prison, if he's going to get convicted. But this man had been roaming around allegedly doing stuff since the early 90s. And here we are in 2025, and he's just now being exposed and finally taken down for things that he's done. This man had a reign for 30 plus years. How is that fair that certain people can get by with this type of stuff and other people can't? It just, for the life of me, I don't understand it. I do not understand it. But with that, okay, so we got 25 votes. Do you think there is a deeper, sinister connection between Tory Lanez and Chris Brown legal drama? 64% of you guys are saying yes. 36% are saying no. We got 25 votes. And a lot of you guys are saying yes. And even, I guess, with their history, you guys are still saying yes. And again, I'm going to repeat myself again. You're talking to a woman who are not fans of either of them. I ain't got a damn album. I don't even know a Tory Lanez song. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? I am not fans. I ain't been to one of their concerts. I have not put money in their pockets. So that celebrity worship stuff don't play over here. So I ain't trying to sit up there and just protect them because they good. I know. Absolutely not. But I still find it troubling that there seems to be this connection that's just not adding up. It's just not adding up. Period. And I want truth. I want truth. I don't care if it's a black woman involved, a black man involved, white, Puerto Rican, Haitian. I don't give a damn. Let's get the truth out there. Period. Get the truth out there. Let God reveal it all. Let him reveal it all. You know what I'm saying? Even if people want to hear it or not, reveal it. But I find it interesting that Chris Brown was helping Tory Lanez. He probably was triggered from his own experience. He probably was triggered from his own experience, from what happened with him. I like the music, don't know if they're dirty. I don't even know a Tory Lanez song. I ain't even lying to y'all. And if I have heard it, I didn't know it was him. And if I can be honest, when that drama happened with him and Meg and all of that court stuff, and then when he got convicted, if I can be real with y'all, I just kept pushing with my life. I wasn't invested. But it just seems like as the years go on, just more and more things is just not adding up, and it's more sinister and it's more dark. And it's like, it can't just be. It really just can't be that everybody is just a conspiracy theorist and none of this stuff is real. Like it's too much dark energy. It's too much stuff going on where you're like, this is something very spiritual and very wicked in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? So hit the like if you were here, y'all. Thank you, Alex V. Yes, hit the like button, double tap the screen or the three dots. Go in there and hit the like, please. Hit the like. Hey, Uda. I like the music. Yeah, I just, again, I'm not invested, but I am invested in truth. I am invested in justice, and I'm talking about real justice. Justice. That's what I'm invested in. You know what I mean? But again, having a troubled past doesn't mean that you're also guilty of what they're accusing you of too. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, you guys. Like, I would really have to see, because again, we have had so many people that we have seen within the past several years that once they piss someone off, or once someone doesn't want them to win, all of a sudden they are the worst individuals ever. For example, Cat Williams. Do you know how many times they done said Cat Williams has an issue with substances? Do you know how many times they sat up there and said that he was freaking crazy, and how, you know what I'm saying, like he ruined his own career because of substance issues? And he literally went on Club Shay Shay and said, I ain't never had a substance issue in my life. All I do is the herb, the green, and cigarettes. But literally, if you look at the history, before he actually he was willing to speak out on a platform that allowed him to just talk and not try to downplay what he was saying. Before that, you would think that Cat Williams fell off because of his own demise, because of substance issues. But like he was saying, it had nothing to do with that. He claiming that he never had a substance issue. It all had everything to do with the fact that he had integrity and he wasn't willing to give up that hole. And he wasn't willing to sit up there and do certain things. And then all of a sudden he became this horrible, bad person. Dave Chappelle. Why is it that Dave Chappelle, he was so perfect, no issues, but then when he decided to run away apparently to Africa and didn't want to sign that deal, all of a sudden he was crazy. He had lost his mind. He wasn't in his right mind. May have had allegedly had substance issues. Why is it the same pattern? Britney Spears. Hell, I can go on. I can go on. You know what I mean? I can really go on. So, people don't know what real justice is anymore. You better say that. You better say that. Is it S. Bry? You better say that. Cat Williams speak the truth in Shay Shay. Literally predicted a lot of stuff. Yeah, Chris Brown was wanted already, and he took his stupid self back over there. See, that's the issue, Greg. That's the issue that I have with this situation. Is he that damn stupid to go over there if he allegedly did this in 2023? If he allegedly did this in 2023, why would you think that you untouchable to go back there for a world tour and think nobody is going to hold you accountable? And you mean to tell me you didn't get no notice of anything about you possibly being charged? It just makes no sense. Is it Sarah? Okay, I hope I'm saying it correctly. But hello. Hey, and hey, Greg. Hey, girl, dad. Yes, hit that like button. Thank you. You either double tap the screen, or it's the three dots to your right where you can do that. It's wrong to listen and like music. Some people look for issues with anything. If you weren't there, wait and see. Yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we really don't know. We have what the media has said. We have situations, and I'm saying again, they both could be troubled souls who have had some serious issues. They can. But there's a lot of people who have troubled souls that are able to move about this world, this free world, and they never face consequences for their actions. I just find it interesting that some people can actually get attacked and get dragged in the media and all of these so-called rumors about them, and other people are not touched at all. Yeah, Dave turned down money, and then all of a sudden he was crazy, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, left to go to Africa. You know what I'm saying? And you can tell even on that Oprah interview, there was certain things that he wanted to say. And you know what I'm saying? He wasn't trying to go too deep, but there were certain things that he wanted to say. Now, luckily, he was able to still kind of recover from that. But at the end of the day, they talked about him, and before that, they said nothing bad about that man. When he had his Dave Chappelle show, he was the best thing since sliced bread. All of a sudden, he turned down that money and whatever else they was possibly offering him, and all of a sudden, he's scum of the earth and got issues and crazy. It just, again, we just kind of have to look at this, especially God's people. I don't know about y'all, but I am a spiritual person. I, you know what I'm saying, believe in Jesus. And I just feel like God will give us discernment to let us know when something ain't feeling right and something ain't right. The song said that's one blew him. It was based off of Brownstones If You Love Me, and Voices of Theory said it. Who are you talking about, Alex B? Yes. Yes, thank you. Please drop a like, double tap the screen, or hit the three dots to your right. Hit the three dots to your right. Yeah, it's definitely, you just feel it. People who have that discernment, you feel it when something ain't right. Something is not, something is not right. Cass said a lot about comedians wearing dresses. What you think? Dave Chappelle said that too, Brandon. Remember when Dave Chappelle sat up there and said that they was coming to him talking about something? This is a lovely idea. Yeah, we want you to wear a dress. And he was like, hell no, I ain't wearing no dress. He's like, no. And remember, he said that on Oprah, and he was like, come on, it will be lovely. And he even said something like, what is this, Brokeback Mountain? I said, no. He denied them. He was like, I'm not doing that. That's not me. He talked about that. Y'all look it up. So while people may not sometimes go completely in and giving names, they'll drop jewels there, little bit of jewels, just here and there. They'll put it out there. They'll put it out there just so people can know. I'm telling you, but at the same time, not giving you specifics, but I'm telling you, there's some dark stuff going on here. Yes. Where are we at with the likes? Let's get at least 50 likes, you guys. 50 likes, please, for your girl. Get at least 50 likes going. Who still wore it? When did Dave Chappelle wear a dress? Did he end up wearing a dress? I don't remember Dave Chappelle wearing a dress. I know that Kevin Hart ended up wearing a dress, but I don't remember. Y'all let me know if Dave Chappelle wore a dress. I don't know if he did. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he did that. But yeah, I don't think, y'all got to let me know, but I don't think Dave Chappelle ended up wearing a dress. I know that Kevin Hart at one point, they kept saying that he said he would never go that route and he would never do that. And they said he ended up doing it. But yeah, I don't think Dave Chappelle did it. Dave Chappelle did not do that. They're saying Kevin Hart did that. But yeah, it just seems like certain people who's willing to hold on to their morals and and again, just, it's like, to me, if you're willing to hold on to your morals and your values, then they try to make it seem like you're anti other people and what they want to do, or you're a hater, or, and I don't think that's the case. I think Dave Chappelle is very, I'm saying, everybody live and let live. But for me, and what I want to do as a man, I'm not interested in doing that. Same thing with Cat Williams. And it seems like because you were just not interested and you just decided to turn it down and say, no, thank you. Still want to work, still talented. I want to work, but no, thank you. All hell breaks loose simply because you say no. I mean, let's be clear. Monique said the same thing. Because she said no, then all of a sudden she's the worst person in the world. She's difficult to work with. And she ended up losing millions of dollars because she got blackballed. Kevin did. Dave did what back in the day? Dave Chappelle wore a dress back in the day? Let me look this up, because the internet don't miss. Dave Chappelle in a dress. Let me see. Okay, so Oh, you talking about the Robin Hood Man in Tights thing that he did? Is that what you're saying? Because that's what I'm like looking up now. Apparently, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a movie called Robin Hood Man in Tights. Apparently, they're showing him in kind of like this, I guess, what would look like a dress or whatever outfit. So that's him apparently back in 1992. Apparently, back in 1992, he allegedly wore a dress. So that's interesting. And I'm looking at, you guys can look it up. Robin Hood Man in Tights, Dave Chappelle, back in 1992. So interesting. He did do that. I guess that would be considered a dress. And it looks like he had a wig on. But whatever the case may be, when he finally started making money, he said that he told them no. So the question is, was it really about him wearing a dress at this point? Because that's interesting. Was it about him wearing a dress? You know what? Let me see if I can share my screen. And you know what? We'll just do it that way. How about that? We'll just do it that way so you guys can see it for yourself. Because, of course, Reddit has every damn thing. So let me see. And I can show you guys. Make sure you guys get the likes up. Get the likes up. All right. So let me share the screen. Share. All right. Can you guys see it? Let me know if you see it. That is Dave Chappelle, the only black person in this actual picture. And that's what he was wearing. And it looks like he has a long black wig on with these other guys. You see it? Do you see it? Put a 1 in the chat if you see it. Put a 1 in the chat if you see it. So now it makes me wonder, because again, I'm a truth seeker. It makes me wonder if you was willing to do it in 1992 for Robin Hood Men in Tights. Were you really telling us what they were asking you to do? Because he did this whole thing about how they kept coming to him like, this is going to be great. You're going to love it. Wear this dress, wear this wig. And he was like, hell no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. But you did it in 92. Now, one can say he did it back then because he was new to the industry. But then it would make, I would say, people wonder, well, if you was willing to do it back then, why wouldn't we approach you? Because you've done it before. So was he really telling the true story about that's what he said no to? Or is the dress a metaphor for something else? And he didn't really want to say what they really asked him to do. He's right there. He's the one with the actual yellow on. He's right there in the middle. Let me see if I can give you guys a bigger picture. Hold on. Maybe let me Google Dave Chappelle. Let's see. Dave Chappelle. Lord have mercy. I'm getting tired. Dave Chappelle in a dress. Let me see images. Let me see if this one is bigger. Is that one bigger for you? Can you see it? Let me see it. Can you see that one? In the front in the yellow. He has another one too. He's been wearing dresses and talking out of both sides of his neck. Yeah. And you know what's so crazy? Cat Williams actually used to defend Dave Chappelle, especially after he turned down that $50 million. And then when Cat Williams went out there and spoke his truth on Club Shay Shay, Dave Chappelle had a lot to say against Cat Williams. Quite interesting. Quite interesting. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's quite interesting. Maybe he wasn't forced. So you're saying that he was willing to do it back in 1992, but because they kept trying to force him to do it, he said no? That's possible. Probably because he has makeup on, can't recognize him. I mean, he the only black person in this scene. I mean, literally the only black person. Let me see if this will show up bigger. You guys see it? I don't know if you guys can see it, but I mean, it looks big on my end, damn it. So hopefully you guys can see it. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you can see it. But yeah, that's him back in 92. Okay, so Rail is saying trying not to take up for bro, but that's not a dress. So what would you consider it? A tunic? But yeah, but we ain't talking about Jamie Foxx though. Jamie Foxx and the Martins have never had an issue with wearing a dress. Neither has Eddie Murphy. We're talking about those who have been adamant about not wanting to do it or felt uncomfortable doing it. Jamie Foxx and the Martins and the Eddies, they ain't had no problem. So, but we're talking about him specifically and what he has had to say about this situation. You know what I'm saying? That's really, you know what I'm saying, the issue when it comes to that. Let me see. Okay, so let's see. Share this tab instead. Okay, is this a better picture? I don't know if you guys can see it, but maybe that's a better picture. But I mean, it ain't pants. That's what we do know. It's not pants. You know what I'm saying? And he looks like he has on a wig. Now, again, if we're going to go back to, I guess, those times during those medieval times, I guess you can say that men wore wigs, but that looked like a long ass Diana Ross wig. I ain't going to hold you. That looked like a straight up, ain't no mountain high enough type of curly long Diana Ross wig. That's what that looked like. So, even with his hand, the way his hand is, I don't know, bruh. And it looked like they done put some little padding in his chest area right there. I don't know. But it does look a little suspect, and he got a long wig on. I'm just saying. But hey, at the end of the day, it looks a little interesting. So I guess if just to be honest, if you had no problem doing it then, why do you have a problem doing it now? So I can understand in that perspective, like, what's the big deal? You did it in Robin Hood Men in Tights, so what's the issue? Unless he was just telling us that, and that was the reason, certain things that he was talking about, but he didn't really want to tell the real reason as to why he walked away. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But let's also look at the fact that we still live in a patriarchal society. And if you notice, all of these men that I just talked about who has been allegedly blackballed in multiple situations, from Dave Chappelle to Cat Williams to Chris Brown, interesting enough that they still have been able to continue their careers. Meanwhile, you got certain women, when they get blackballed, they blackball. You know what I'm saying? They are definitely blackballed. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, so let's see. I don't even know if I can necessarily share this, depending what you're sending me. I don't even know if I can show this clip. So, apparently there is another scene with Dave Chappelle, apparently, in a dress with a fade and some lipstick on and some ear. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna just have to fair use it. I'm gonna have to show you guys this. If that's the case, fair use. Let me put it out there, since we going down this rabbit hole and y'all willing to go down this rabbit hole with me, then so be it. Just make sure you guys hit the like button, double tap the screen. or hit the three dots. I'm about to show y'all this another situation where Dave Chappelle is apparently in a dress, some damn gold earrings. It looks like this is interesting. Hold on. Please hold. Let me blow this sucker up. All right, y'all. Let me get it because that's crazy. So then let's go. We here exactly. Okay, this is disturbing as shit. I ain't gonna even hold you. This looks interesting. All right, so I'm gonna share this screen instead. All right, so it's saying I'm sharing the screen. So it's showing him. That is supposedly Dave Chappelle back in the day. Let me take this back. Let me take this back. All right. Fair use, fair use. Okay, now you see lipstick, an earring, a fade, but still lipstick, an earring, and fake breast. Okay. Okay. So yeah. Yeah. Hell no. Hell to the nah. To the nah, nah, nah. What the hell is going on here, folks? So, what y'all got to say about that? What y'all got to say about that? Did y'all see it? Okay. He did it in the movie CB4. You can't see it. You can't. Okay. You guys could not see that even though it shared the tab? All right, you guys. Again, I am trying to show you guys, but it's making it seem like y'all can't see it. Let me do this one more time. And hopefully you guys can see it. Give me a second. This is crazy. This is what I'm talking about. They be purposely trying to mess up and have technical issues when I be trying to show y'all stuff. I'm going to do it one more time. If it don't show up, then the powers that be don't want me to show it. So let me do it again. And then we can go from there. So you guys can see this. All right, hold on. Because it clearly is him. A younger him, but still him. So let's see. All right, you guys, bear with me. Okay, so let me share the screen again and see if this works. All right, so I'm sharing the screen. Can you guys see the screen? Can you see it? Before I play it, I need to know if you guys can see it. Can you see it? Can you see it? I'm not playing until y'all put a 1 in the chat. Can you see this screen that I just put on here? Can you see it? The chat is delayed. I need to know. Okay, so yes, I'm getting yeses. All right. So now that we can see it, again, fair use. I'm about to play this. It's only 26 seconds. This is apparently Dave Chappelle, all right? It is.
Like that too.
Really? That's probably a chest skull. Hey, Rob, you take a temperature?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just stick the thermometer.
With fake boots, lipstick,
I'm getting a fever just watching. Hey, let me
and an earring.
I wouldn't mind sticking my thermometer down there. Mine only works rectally.
And again, what he just said is that where he could stick his thermometer and he thought that was funny and was laughing and think it was cute. This was a comedy skit, but again, y'all saw it. Y'all saw it now, right? Okay. So there it is. We definitely have a couple situations where he went onto this elaborate story about how they was trying to have him come in about wearing a dress, but he had no problem allegedly wearing dresses before. So the question is, what's the issue? What was the issue then? Or was it something else and you don't want us to know? You just don't want us to know. So, but again, this is what I'm talking about, Vo. Going back to how when you do start rejecting certain things, then you're labeled as crazy and a lot of other stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? Because again, Dave Chappelle was considered a hot commodity. He was that guy when he did the Dave Chappelle show. That show was huge. They offer him a deal, and allegedly it was just money, but clearly it seems like that probably wasn't the case. There was more attached to that money, it seems like. $50 million deal that he allegedly rejected. All of a sudden, they claim he went to Africa, and then next thing you know, all of these people was saying this man has lost his mind. You know what I'm saying? We have heard from the Gillies and people like that who claim that just simply saying thank you, but no thank you, will cause you to get blackballed. You've even had Monique said that she just simply said no, she wanted to spend time with her family and didn't want to do any more, you know what I'm saying, like promotion for the movie. She had already done enough. And apparently her saying no, she became difficult, she was blackballed. So at what point do we understand that there seems to be patterns that you saying no and actually having standards or values of just being able to say no, thank you, even if it's not me, you're like, no, I'm not interested. All of a sudden, you're the scum of the earth. Even if you have a past, even if you're not innocent in your past. And now I'm trying to think, do you get into this industry and become successful because you have a past and certain people can hold things against you if need be? It almost is coming off as if they have to have something on you in order for you to even get into certain circles. So then that way, if you do act up, they can put it out there. Allegedly, my opinion. You know what I'm saying? For entertainment purposes only. But it's almost coming across that way. Because it almost seems like as soon as you do not comply, all of these past scandals or things come out about what you did 10 years ago, 30 years ago. It seems like everything comes out. But it doesn't mean that they're innocent. It just means that, yeah, we know you're guilty of this. We have it on you. But you can have this wonderful career if you comply. But if you don't comply, then we have this on you. You know what I'm saying? We have this on you. Oh, yeah. Mark Curry talked about that. And I loved Mark Curry hanging with Mr. Cooper. And see, I can't stand that mentality. I don't know if you guys have heard that mentality that people say everybody steals. Have y'all heard that before? Everybody steals. People who truly are talented don't have to steal. They don't have to steal. Mark Curry owns style. Cat Williams owns style. People who are truly talented don't have to steal, but it seems like those are the ones who get the blackball, while people who are willing to cheat, steal, and do whatever are willing to, and they can get to certain levels. You know what I'm saying? They can get to certain levels. Cat Williams gave Mark Curry props because he said Mark Curry helped him pump, boost up that comedy skit that he talked about that Cedric the Entertainer allegedly stole from him. He always gives props to Mark Curry. And there's actually footage of Mark Curry talking in Steve Harvey's ear while they was on stage for some type of comedy honor or something like that. And he was like, you could tell he at that moment, he was like, I said when I see that ninja, I'ma see him. I don't care if we in front of cameras or not, I'm about to approach him. And he took that moment like a true Oakland brother and said, this is the time and place I'ma see you. I'm about to sit up there and tell you how I feel about your ass. Yeah, so definitely. Cat Williams, right. So yes. Hey Jasmine, he got locked up for apparently something he did in 2023. And he will be staying there until June 13th, until he has a hearing and gives a plea. I don't know if he's gonna stay in there, but he's supposed to start his tour 2 days later in the UK, June 15th. But he is in there and they claim he's going to stay in there at least until June 13th. Said another one, it be your own people. Yeah, that's why I say all skin folks ain't kin folks. I will never understand. I used to be blind like that, but when I started getting screwed over by people who looked like me, I said, forget that. I don't care if you black like me. I need to check your moral and your integrity. I need to know who you are, especially behind the scenes when you feel like no one is looking, what type of person you are, because it will be your own people who will screw you over more than anyone. More than anyone. You guys, before I get off, we got 56 likes. Come on, y'all. Let's see if y'all can give me the 75 likes. Double tap the screen or the 3 red dots. The 3 dots to your right. I believe there's 3 dots. Just go ahead. Just tap it. Just tap it. Double tap the screen of 3 dots. Before I get off, your girl been on here for 2 hours with y'all. Come on, hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button so I can get into the algorithm. I'm a small channel, and it's clearly like-minded people in here who actually want to listen and probably agree or, feel like something fishy going on. So all I need is y'all support so other people like y'all can find my channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, by all means, please double tap the screen. And also the red dots to your right should be able to have you hit the like button. It's not red dots. It's just 3 dots to the right. So if you go to the 3 dots to the upper right-hand corner on your phone or whatever, you hit those 3 dots. There is a like button. Once you hit the 3 dots, it says more. You got the like button, the share button. You got all of that in there. Or you can double tap the screen. It's real easy. You know what I'm saying? It's real easy. Those 3 dots. Sammy Davis, tap that like button. Not Sammy Davis Jr. Sammy Davis Jr., Free Breezy. Yeah, I would love again to really, I may have to do a deep dive on the history of Chris Brown even prior to Rihanna. I didn't know he had a history of allegedly DV or issues with being aggressive before the Rihanna. What I do know is once the Rihanna situation happened, it just kind of went downhill from there. You know what I'm saying? Just like I didn't know Tory Lanez allegedly, based on what you guys are telling me, has a history of DV before the Meg situation. I did not know, y'all. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm still trying to figure out, though, why them? And that's all I'm saying. Why just them? You don't think there's other people in this industry and other people in this world who has done way more trifling, shady stuff or the exact same shady stuff, but they're walking free and have had no scandals about them? Like, seriously. So it seems like the reason why they possibly have gotten caught up is because of other reasons. Tory Lanez's own father claims that because he rejected Rock Nation, he's in the bind that he's in today. He said that out of his own mouth. He called them out by name. That's a bold mofo. I'll tell you that much. He said, I don't care. I'm about to put y'all out there, your names and everything, that y'all trying to take my son down. Quite interesting. But yeah, you guys love themselves pull break. You may have a point. You know what I'm saying? You may have a point. Yeah, but here's the problem with those rumors. Who is creating the rumors? Is someone creating those rumors so it can benefit the narrative that's being placed out there? That's my issue in a situation. Are the rumors true, or once people are trying to really dig a grave for you, so to speak, these rumors are created and calculated to make sure that the public opinion about you shifts? That's the problem. Like, let's just look at the times just growing up when we was growing up. How many people done had a rumor about them and you like, where the hell did that come from? But the rumor ends up getting legs and people start thinking it's true. And you like, what the hell is going on here? Like high school shit. I'm sure a lot of us have been through that. It's like, how did this rumor even get legs, and how these rumors have now become truth because enough people are sitting up there spreading it and believing it. We don't know a lot of stuff that they putting out there, which is why I'm gonna have to really do a deep dive to see what are these alleged allegations that apparently even happened before they got connected with these women. I needs to know. You know what I'm saying? And again, I find it. And by all means, you guys can continue the conversation in the comments below. If you guys have some information, show it to me. And I'm talking about prior to Chris Brown, prior to the Rihanna situation. Did he have a history, and do you have proof of it? Prior to the Meg situation with Tory Lanez, was there a history, and is there proof of it? Do we have women who actually spoke out about it, gave proof about it? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you guys, we've been on here for over 2 hours. 2 hours, you guys. How many likes we got? How many likes we got? Make sure you double tap the screen. Make sure you get the 3 dots to your upper right-hand corner and hit the like button. It's there, it's there, it's there. But yeah, you guys, it's okay. It seems like a lot of people are also interested in going down this rabbit hole too. Something just does not add up. It doesn't feel right. But again, I'm not accusing anyone of anything, because I don't really know what the heck is going on. The people who've been accusing stuff, like you said, like I said, Tory Lanez's father, he put it out there who he think is behind his son's downfall. Gilly has pretty much mentioned who he felt blackballed him. You know what I'm saying? Chris Brown, I don't know if he's ever been bold enough to say who he felt like his downfall was, but clearly he got his demons that he's dealing with. But I just felt like none of that really surfaced until the Rihanna situation, to be quite honest. But if you guys know any more information, by all means, please let me know. So with that being said, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want me to talk about other conspiracy theories when it comes to the industry, or certain stories that just aren't adding up, by all means, hit it up in the chat. Let me know in the comments section. Like, hey, did you hear about this story? What do you think about this? And I'll take a deep dive and take a look at it. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys so much for listening tonight. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on my next video. Toodles.